New York, the 1920s, a bustling city full of dreams and opportunities, but also full of shadows. And in those shadows lurked a man whose story is so macabre it seems taken from a nightmare. His name, Albert Fish, a serial killer, a remorseless predator, a monster disguised as a harmless old man. But what made him different from the rest was what he did to his victims after killing them. Today, I will tell you the story of the Brooklyn Cannibal, a case that will chill your blood. To understand Albert Fish, we must go back in time. He was born in 1870 in Washington, D.C., in a family marked by madness and suffering. His father died when he was just a child, and his mother, unable to support him, sent him to an orphanage, a place where physical punishment and abuse were part of daily life. But Albert didn't just suffer. He also learned to enjoy pain. Every blow, every punishment fed something dark inside him, a seed of evil that would grow over time. Over the years, Fish seemed to live a normal life. He got married, had children, but inside him lived a monster. He loved reading about torture, experimented with pain on his own body, and developed a sick obsession with children. He started sending anonymous letters to families with grotesque descriptions of what he wanted to do with their children. He infiltrated orphanages, lied about his identity, and convinced children to go with him. But his most atrocious crime was yet to come. On May 25, 1928, Albert Fish arrived at the Budd family's home. He introduced himself as Frank Howard, a kind old man looking for a farmhand. His true target was the family's son, but upon seeing little Grace Budd, he changed his plans. He told them he would take her to a birthday party and bring her back in a few hours. But Grace never returned. For 6 years, the Budd family had no news. Until one day, in 1934, a letter arrived. A letter that would change everything. Grace's mother received a letter written by Fish himself. In it, he described in detail how he had taken Grace to an abandoned cabin, how he had killed her, and most chillingly, how he had cooked and eaten her. It was a macabre confession, but also the clue the police needed. Analyzing the letter, they managed to track Fish and arrested him shortly after. But what they would discover in the interrogations was worse than they had imagined. Fish not only admitted to the murder of Grace Budd, but he also confessed to having killed and eaten multiple children. His coldness shocked even the most experienced detectives. He described how he whipped himself with nails and pins, how he inserted needles into his pelvis, and how he felt pleasure from the pain. He was found guilty and sentenced to the electric chair. On January 16, 1936, Albert Fish walked to his execution without fear. In fact, according to witnesses, he was excited because he wanted to feel what it was like to be electrocuted. The case of Albert Fish remains one of the most chilling in criminal history. A man who seemed harmless but hid an indescribable horror. A reminder that sometimes monsters are not in nightmares, but walking among us. If this story shocked you, don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any case. See you in the next video, if you can sleep after this.